Hi, it's Anne-Marie. This is an overview of the new web claims module in BC PSLS. So to start with, you would log in with your usual name and password. I'm showing you this in the test environment, but you'd be working in production. You will see at the top here a number of different modules. What you're looking for is this claims module here. There are a number of options shown on the left-hand side. You can add a new claim or perform similar functions to what you're used to doing if you're used to using other modules like events or complaints. And then there are 3 different statuses for claims. They can be open, closed, or you can reject a claim. That would typically be something like if you accidentally put in a duplicate or if it was something that got entered that really wasn't a claim. To add a new claim, you can either do that from scratch here, and I'll come back to that, or you can start with an existing record in either the events module or the complaints module. So I'll quickly show you that first. To start out with, you would search for the record you're looking for. You would enter the ID number. Find the record that you are wanting to link to or create a claim from. Open it, and you'll see here an option of generate from. So you would click on that, and it's going to give you an option of choosing the module that you want to generate the new record in. In this case, choose claims. We want it to be an open record, and then I can include all of the links to contacts, and I can also indicate that this record is going to be linked to the new one from either direction. And generally that's what you would do. And then we would click generate. Now I've already done that, so I'm not going to do that again. But after you do generate that new record, you are then going to see in this linked record section that there is a link to that new claim record that you've created using that generated from option. And the information that is shown here, still we're in the event record here, so the information shown here in this link comes from this record actually, and so the people who have access to this event record in the events module don't see any information that they don't already know about this particular record. And unless they have access specifically to the claims module, they will see this as a read-only link. They won't be able to get into the claim record or into the claims module by clicking on this link. Now for those of you that do have access to both, you could actually click here and you're going to be taken over into that new claim record. We're now in the claims module. So I've gone ahead and filled in quite a bit of the information that normally you would fill in once you've generated this new record. But you'll see here there are fields for you to put in your reference number using whatever convention your health authority uses, if that is something you use. There's a second field here for other reference as well. The name of the patient, the person affected, from the event record will come over here into the name of this claim record. This date open field is one that you can put in manually, as the date that you generate the record from the event module may not be the same day that you open the claim file. So that is an editable field for you. Status is open, as we had indicated, and I have fields here where I can put in the manager of the area involved if I want to. You can see that's not a mandatory field. Mandatory fields are indicated by these little red asterisks. Then I also can indicate who the handler of this new claim record is going to be. And note that if you do over time, if you're changing this handler, anytime you change it to someone other than yourself, email is going to be sent to that new handler to notify them that they've been assigned as the handler of this new claim. Last updated note is here, and then the description has come over from the event record, and if you decide you want to change this and make it more descriptive of the actual claim as opposed to the event, you can go ahead and do that. And because you've got your link here to that event record, this information is going to stay the same unless they change it on the event record side. It's going to stay the same. So you retain that information even if you do decide that you're going to change the description here. And then you would classify your claim. So in this case, you have an option of patient, property, staff, visitor, or other. These have come over from the existing rich client, and in fact most of the options in the drop down fields are the same as what you're going to see currently in the other version of PSLS. PSLS that you use for claims. We did add an option of staff, which isn't currently available. Just in reviewing the data, we noticed there were a number of times that other was chosen to reflect issues involving staff and things like human rights tribunals. So we've given you a specific category going forward that you can use for that purpose. Most of what gets reported in the claims module involves patients. Most of it is clinical. In this case, we have an example that's non-clinical. But depending what you pick here, you're going to see a number of different options listed below, and they should look familiar to you if you're used to using our module. Nature of claim, you're going to see a list of the same sorts of things you should be used to seeing now. And then there's a couple questions here. One asks whether this is an actual claim, and there's a little help here if you click on the little question mark that will help you answer that question. And thank you to those of you that helped us with developing this question and this help. If you say no, this is not an actual claim, then you will see this question for potential claim. If you had said yes here, you're not going to see a question about potential claim. And the same sort of thing, you've got some direction here to help you determine whether this is a potential claim. And you can certainly say no to both, and it can still be a record in your claim file. Question here about resolution forum, same options that are currently available to you in the rich client. If you have brought this record over from an event record, as we did, you will see that this information has come over as well, and that is the date of the event and how it was categorized in the events module. If you did not bring this record over from the events module, these fields will still be shown. You'll notice they're non-mandatory. You can use them if they're helpful to you, and don't bother if they're not. For any part of this field, if your health authority decides there are questions or sections of this form that you really don't think you would ever use, please do let me know, and we can hide those for you so that you don't have to deal with them at all. And then you have a section here about insurer details. If you said no to this first question, you will see that there are no other fields that are shown. But if you say yes, then you have a field to put in the date that you've reported it to the insurer, who the insurer is. Currently, the only person or the only organization in this drop-down is the Healthcare Protection Program, or HCPP. If you pick other, you've got a spot where you can type that in. If you do need other things added to this section, please do let me know. And I know that at least for BC Emergency Health Services, there was some interest in putting some links in to some of the different insurance policies that they have, and we certainly can do that for you if that's something that would be useful. You have a field here, non-mandatory, for insurer reference, and then some questions that populate a template or one or more templates that we have built or are in the process of building for you when you report to HCPP. So there's a question about whether an incident report is enclosed, whether a writ or statement of claim is enclosed, and any other notes for the insurer. So that's all your insurance section. And then you have a little piece at the bottom here called stage. So before I get into that, I'm just going to save this record. And you'll notice it stays on the page that you were working on. So you've got a list of options here that reflect steps that you might take in your claim handling process. And again, this is a field that is not mandatory. If you think your health authority would never use this, let us know. We don't have to show it, but it is there if it's useful. And it feeds into this notes and review section. So here you have the stages of the claim handling process. Anytime that something is entered into that field on the front page here, this claim, the stage field that right now shows claim threatened, it's going to be reflected over here as well. And as you go through the process and update that other field, anything that you put over there and save is going to be reflected in this table here. So you have a chronological record of the different activities that you have undertaken or people on your team have undertaken in handling this claim. Most recent is at the top, oldest is at the bottom. If I decided that I wanted to add something here as well, I do have the option of doing that directly right here by clicking on Add Stage. So if there's something that I did a couple of days ago and I haven't actually reflected it here, I can always go in and indicate that. So maybe that happened yesterday. And that will then be added to my list. And then I have a notes section here where I can update what's going on with the file. And again, when I save it, that information is going to be shown here. again in kind of reverse chronological order, most recent at the top, and we'll include the date and time that I made that entry as well as the entry itself. So it's a nice sort of area where you can put notes to file, keep track of exactly what activities happened in handling the file. The organization involved section, if you've created this from an event or a complaint, this information will come over from that existing record. If not, this is information that you would fill out, and only the health authority field is mandatory. You have your people involved section, and in this case, because we brought the record over from the events module, this people affected contact would have been created. And in order to create the claimant record, there is a little bit of information you do need to know. So initially, when this record was brought over from the events module, only this person affected would be indicated here, plus any other contacts or employees associated with that event record. But in order to create that claimant record, I need to do that as a new record. So I would click on create a new claimant link, and I would then, you'll notice that some of these fields are bolded. These are the things that you do need to make sure you fill in eventually. But I'd start out by searching for this contact. So I'm going to look for John Smith, and I'm going to check for matching contact. And it finds this person. Now in this case I've already created that link, but normally if you hadn't done that you wouldn't see that. You would see a little button here that says choose, and I would make sure that before I even started that this ID number matches that ID number for that patient involved in this record. And once I've established that, then I would choose this record, and it would pull through the information from that patient record. And the fields that I then need to make sure I complete are this contact role field. I would need to indicate this is the complainant, and I also need to confirm that this is the person affected. So I'm not going to create that link because I've already done it. But you can see here now that I do now have this claimant link, and it's showing me that this person is linked to this event and also to this particular, a couple of other claims. And it's really important actually that you take those steps as opposed to just creating a new claimant link. If you just go in and straight on create a new claimant link, you're going to duplicate that person involved record. So you want to make sure you don't do that. We have given you, just so you to help you remember these instructions, we've given you a little bit of help here. So there is a little PDF that will walk you through exactly what you need to do in order to create that new claimant record properly. In the templates and documents section, some of you may be familiar with this, but probably most of you are not. If you are wanting to create a Word document using a template and using the information that is in this record, this is how you do it. You go to the templates and documents section, you create the record that you're wanting to create by picking the template that reflects what you're wanting to do. So for example, if I want to create just a simple claim overview, I pick that one. I click on merge in MS Word. This is my claimant, and you'll notice that all the different contacts are associated with, but I want this record to be about this claimant, so that's who I choose. Confirm that. And you'll see now my claim overview has been created, and it is saved in the document section here. And I can then open it. If I want to edit it, I can. But it's basically going to give me all the information about this particular claim all in one document. And you'll see that all the information that has been entered has been brought over. So it's a nice little one-page document that can be quite useful, I think, if you just want to have that quick overview of what that claim looks like. There are a number of other documents here that you can, templates here that you can use to report to HCPP, for example, whether that's straight on liability claim or whether it's a property claim. And then we have a couple of templates that we are in the process of building from the different health authorities, and we'll have those all up and running for you before we go live. I'll show you one more, which is this liability one. So again, I would merge in MS Word, and you'll see now that this document is attached in the documents section, and I now have my HCPP report form all filled out and ready to go. If you do need to edit anything or add anything, you can do it directly on the Word document. Just remember that if you do that, it will not make changes to the one that is attached in PSLS. If you want to save this revised version, then you would need to attach that document in here just by attaching a new document and selecting it from wherever you have saved it, as you are probably used to doing in some of the other modules. You have a option here to use the actions module. So if you're needing to assign actions to people to follow up on a claim or a legal issue by reviewing a chart, checking out any of those sort of options, you can do that. By doing that, you will not be giving the person that you are assigning the action to access to the claim record itself or to the claims module. They will only see that action form unless they already have access to the claims module. You can certainly send email, and in a version that is coming up shortly, once we upgrade our system in the next short while, you'll be able to, you'll see a field here that shows you all of the documents that are attached to this record, so that right from within this email communication section, you can actually send email to people either attached to this record, so any contacts attached that have an email address, any PSLS users, or additional recipients that may not be users of PSLS, and you will be able to attach those documents and send email and have a record of that email communication here. And then this is the linked record that we created when we created this particular claim. If you did want to add a new claim from scratch, something where there was not an existing event or complaint record, you would go here. And then you will see all of the fields that you need to fill out, very similar to what the record looks like once you actually create it and save it. Again, all of your red asterisks are your mandatory fields, and the rest are optional. So that's basically it for creating a new record and working within the claims module itself. Here I just wanted to show you that we do have some reports that are available to you if you wanted to run those. So for example, if I'm wanting to look at, let's say all claims by type and status, then I would click on this particular report, and I have an option to put in whatever date opened range I want to, and ask for the report to be updated, and it's now going to show me that I've got mostly patient-related claims that are mostly open, some property, some staff, and so forth. So I get a good quick overview of what exactly is in the database and reflecting my work in the claims module. I also have an option of doing a search here, so if I want to do a new search and just look for, let's say, all of my open records that are of the type patient, I can do that. And then I might want to save this as a query. I think this might be something useful that I would use in the future. What I would say to you, if you're going to do that sort of thing, I think it's always a very useful thing to put in the option to be able to define a particular date range. So here in this date open field, if you put in @prompt and then run your search, it is going to ask you to put some dates in. In this case, we'll just continue and include everything. And then I can save this search as a query, and you won't see all of this, but I can save this as patient claim. So when I then want to run that again, I can go to my queries here, and I can find that query and I can run it. And again, it's going to give me the option to put in whatever date range I want. I can then go to my design a report section and say, for this particular set of data, I think I would like to perhaps create a report using that claim record. Field there. And take a look at that by subtype, and it's only going to give me two options here, but you get the idea. And then I might decide that I want to save that and add that to my reports and have it be something that I want to run more regularly, so I can do that too. And I want to be able to be prompted for that date range when I run it. And you'll see that this is the report here, and so I can go in and rerun that anytime, and again have the option to put different dates in. The other way I can look at my data is by looking at my dashboard. So this is one that we've set up for you, and so automatically when you come in here, if you go to your dashboard and look for that Claims and Risk Topics dashboard, you're going to be able to see all of your claims by type and status, all of your open claims by type and subtype, your open claims by resolution forum, down the left-hand side here, and by nature of claim and event category, and this is only for ones where there is actually an event that has been put into the record, and then all of your open claims by current stage and type, and then a piece that I want to cover here, which is the risk topics. So in the current setup in the Rich client, risk topic is a type of claim record, and when we were setting this up in web, we found that it didn't really work very well to continue to have that kind of approach. So what we have done instead is we have another module here called library. And this is where we would suggest all of your risk topic files go. So risk topics are really meant to be records that don't involve an actual claim, don't involve an identifiable patient or person. They're about a particular topic. And the idea is that when you're putting something together where you're giving particular risk advice or information to people in your health authority, it gives you a way to save that information so that you can go back, should you get the same question again, take a look at what you said last time, perhaps build on that record to keep it up to date, but that you're not having to reinvent the wheel every time. And it acknowledges that not all of the work that you do is associated with a particular specific claim or individual. So if we look at what's in here right now, the examples in here right now, we have a number of different risk topic files. So to do with insurance, to do with policy, to do with legislation, and so forth. So this is the sort of thing that we would expect to see in this module. If I open one of these up, this is an example about insurance for staff who volunteer on patient outings. I've got a reference number, which is optional, a brief title that describes what this risk topic file is about. It will always be a risk topic file, and then I have a number of different subtopics that I can select here to describe what this particular risk topic file is about. I can put in a brief description. I can identify any reference information if I want. This is the person who has created this risk topic file, or who is going to be kind of maintaining it over time, possibly. The date it was created, anytime it's updated or revised, and then if I decide this is no longer relevant and we're done with it, I can always close it. Organization that created this file is listed here, and again, you have options to be more granular if you want. And if you want to attach anything, you can indicate either that there are no attachments, or that you've attached a document, or you've attached a web link, or both. And depending what you pick, you would then see documents attached here or particular web links that you can go to and take a look at. To add a new library record, pretty straightforward. Just cancel that. You would just add a new record, and you'll see that it's basically the fields I just showed you. You'd fill this in, add any attachments, and away you go. Now, one of the questions that came up when we were doing the demo was whether this could be a provincial kind of shared resource. We can absolutely do that if it's something that all of you would like. Just let us know. Currently, it's set up the same way it is within the claims module currently, and that is by assigning your permissions at the health authority level. So when you're in your dashboard for claims and risk topics, that library risk topics dashboard allows you to see records that are associated with any of those subtopics. So if you are thinking, I have a question about insurance, I wonder if I've got a risk topic on that particular insurance issue, you can click on this insurance bar here, be taken to the larger screen. You can then click on it again, and you will see a list of the different risk topic files that are available on that topic. So something that's really quite easy to navigate. Any of the previous risk topics from the old module that are not clearly risk topics but are more patient specific, or something that is a bit more identifiable will still be in the old claims module under other, so that you'll still be able to find them. So that's about it. That's a pretty, I think, quick overview of the whole claims module and how we've set it up. Appreciate your feedback, and so please do let me know what you think, or if you have any questions. There was an FAQ document sent out with a link to the test system, so you can go in and actually try out the new build yourself, but do take a look at the FAQ section as well if you do have questions, because you might find some answers there. And that's it. Thanks for your help in getting this all up and running.